Let's dig deeper into the matter with Jun Alano, PAGCOR Assistant Vice President for External Communications. Magandang gabi po.
Magandang gabi po, Ma'am Gretchen, Ma'am, ano nga po?
Regina
Sorry.
Ison. Oo. Jun, okay,
It's
unang-una,
okay.
PAGCOR as gaming regulator is being tagged as the one responsible for the crackdown on illegal POGOs. Maaari po ba kaming malinawan dito? Ano po ba ang proseso sakasakaling kayo po ay nakahuli ng illegal na POGO? May listahan po kayo dyan o may nag-report po sa inyo. How does the whole process go from the reports to the actual search warrant and inspections?
We actually don't receive reports from the public, and that's what we really want. The process is that when we ourselves in PAGCOR have a security cluster, and we have monitoring teams, and we generate intelligence reports, and these are passed on to our law enforcement agencies. Remember, PAGCOR has no police power, so we need to partner with law enforcement agencies to crack down and go against these syndicates that are operating underground.
Yung PAOK po, ano po ang role nila in the whole scheme of things?
They are the lead in the because they are composed of several teams, and but of course the main forces still come from the PNP, and then there's the DOJ is there, of course the DILG itself, and then we at PAGCOR provide information, especially with regards to our previous licensees who have since ceased legal operations and have gone into illegal activities. So it's PAOK right now that's currently in the lead.
Yun nga po, no, June, kasi yun yung issue, right? We do have the POGOs, na merong lisensya under ng PAGCOR. Meron din yung mga wala. Doon tayo nagkakaproblema, I think, mostly doon sa mga wala. We have been talking to the PNP also, and we keep asking them kung ano po ba yung magyayari. But what they say is they can only act if mag-request ang PAGCOR bilang kayo ang regulator. They can also act upon it kung may nabalitaang or may nag-report din na may criminal activity not related to POGO, to POGO operations rather. So, medyo magulo po. Sa ngayon po ba, ano po ang stance ng PAGCOR with regard to POGOs, licensed or unlicensed? Are you in favor of a blanket ban on all operations? Where does the PAGCOR stand on this now? No, since 2018, I believe, nagbigay ng mga lisensya. It's been about 6 years. Nagbago na po ba ang ihip ng hangin?
Yes. The licenses were issued starting in 2016. And then by the time the COVID pandemic rolled in, we were already getting reports about illegal activities, illicit activities, kidnappings. And then, and so when we came in, the new administration came in 2022, we immediately conducted a thorough review of what's going on, and then we started suspending some licenses. And then by 2023, last August, we really started trimming down the number of operators with license. So we put them on notice. We put all licensees. At the time, there were 298, so close to 300 licensees. So we put them all under probation, and then asked them to reapply. So during the reapplication, that's where we started weeding out. Some of them never applied anymore. A few, some of the others were denied because they couldn't meet the criteria and the new requirements. And then it resulted in a drastic drop in our licensees. From 298, there were only 49 left.
Ano po
So
yung,
that's what we consider as our licensees. The rest, we consider them as plain criminal syndicates.
Sir, ano
But
po
what
yung
happens
ano,
to them
yung-
though after? Like, so mas marami na ngayon na unlicensed. Is there some sort of cleanup job after where, okay, tinanggalan natin to ng lisensya, what then happens to them? Is there an agency in charge of checking kung nandito pa rin sila nung ginagawa nila? Did they vacate the Philippines? What happens?
That's one big problem. Of course, they vacated the premises because part of their license is that they have registered places of business. So once their contracts are out, then they terminated also their leases, and then but we don't know really what happened, whether they all went back to their countries of origin, but we suspect that a lot of them stayed and then went underground. Of course, they have already their equipment, their computers, their machines. So they would just move to another place which is not known to us, and then started operating illegally. In the process, they engaged already in various activities like cyber scam, hacking. What we've seen thus far, those are the activities that they've engaged in since they lost their licenses. So when we're calling for, outlawing all the legal licensees that are remaining, they would probably do the same, just vanish, hide, go underground, but they would still continue. And what's going to happen is that we lose the revenues, we lose the control, we would lose the ability to monitor them closely. So we should consider that.
Okay, sir, ano po yung kaklaruhin ko lang po yung sinabi ninyo na may new requirement po kayo for the issuance of of the license again. What's the difference in the past and the regulation now? Is it more because of the crimes that are happening inside the POGOs, or meron pa pong ibang I guess safety measures, safeguards that you put in place?
Yes. During as I mentioned earlier, in August and September, when we cracked down, we introduced new requirements. Like we asked them really we tried to really check on the beneficial ownerships of these applicants, because we noticed that there are interlocking and interconnected officers between one applicant and the other. So we really determined who are the beneficial owners of this. And then we also increased the bonds so that if they do something wrong, then we can just forfeit their bonds. Another one is we introduced a probity check. So we really went through each and every application so that a lot of them did not qualify, and that's what happened. They failed their application, so they were never given a renewal.
PAGCOR CEO Al Tenco already issued a statement on this. He said he's not for an outright ban on all POGOs in the country. He said that would cause more problems than it solves. He says we could potentially be losing 20 billion pesos. So that's much bigger number than the 5 billion pesos in revenue that was originally being thrown about. Put that into context for us. Where did that 20 billion come from?
Okay. The 5 billion original came from the share of PAGCOR from the gross gaming revenues, which was 2%. It's still 2%. But we should factor also that for every 2% that PAGCOR collects, the BIR gets another 5%. So if you multiply 5 billion by 2.5, then you get something like another 12 or 13 billion. So it's gonna be close to 20 billion when you total it. We're not even talking about the jobs generated for locals and the service providers, and then the peripheral beneficiaries, security guards, those people who are renting out their homes, food providers, transport providers.
And that
So that's the ecosystem of the financial benefits from the legitimate internet gaming licenses.
so around 20 billion, that's just coming from legitimate operations.
Just to cross-check
Yes, yes.
also, because I think Mr. Tenko also was in the House maybe 2 months ago in Congress. Ang sinabi niya po ay 5 to 6% of PAGCOR revenues comes from, of course, the legitimate POGOs. Is that still accurate?
It's somewhere there. But the percentage fluctuates because sometimes some segments of our operations generate more, so it impacts the percentage of the other segments. For example, online games are on the rise, so if it eats up, if it rises further, then it reduces the shares of the other segments. So it fluctuates, but not much.
If there is an outright ban on all POGOs in the country, and there is momentum for that bill in Congress right now, if there is a ban imposed, what effect will that have on your contribution to social services in the country?
Well, it won't, perhaps not much in terms of our contribution, but we're more worried about the jobs that are gonna go out the window, because we're talking about 36,000 people directly employed because of the internet gaming licenses. We have here BPOs who provide, who are considered as service providers, IT, technical staff. So, and these are Filipinos. These are Filipino jobs.
Okay. June, according to your intelligence operations, let's just, finalize the numbers. You said 49 have licenses. Ilan po ang nasa listahan radar po ninyo na illegal?
No, that was the 49 was after we cleaned up. Currently, we only have 46 in the list, but 3 are suspended. So we only have 43 active IGL licenses right now.
Sa illegal po, meron po ba tayong numero doon?
We can only,
Like a
assume
guesstimate.
that a lot of those who were not given licenses in 2023 would have, either gone home or, gone underground. So, because remember, these people are no longer welcome in their own countries.
Gaano po karami yun, sir?
So,
Gaano po karami yung hindi na-renew?
well, if from 298, so, and reduced to 49, so
Wow.
100, almost 150, 149 something.
And I know after din nyo i-renew at bigyan ng bagong lisensya din, of course, officially, they're not anymore under PAGCOR's umbrella and under PAGCOR's regulatory umbrella.
No more.
Oo nga eh.
We
Ano
don't
pong
even call them POGOs.
Right. So ano pong nagyayari sa kanila? So it becomes, parang kumbaga na-absorb na lang sila ng society, kung saan sila magtago, and then becomes a law enforcement issue. Tama po ba?
It becomes a law enforcement problem. Like, recently, there were several Chinese who were arrested in Parañaque. They're already engaged in retail without licenses, without permits. Perhaps those are the ones that are, trying to survive. But you can just imagine the others. They would have been easily absorbed by the previous illegitimate operators, criminal syndicates. They would be much welcome there. And if you don't have a choice, then you will seek refuge there, work for them. So it becomes a sinister pattern of, we're driving them away, we're driving them underground, and we lose the control. We lose the ability to monitor them. And then, of course, the worst is we lose the revenues.